Hey everyone, what's up? This is Rudy for Best Investor coming at you live from West Palm Beach, Florida this afternoon. Today, what I thought we could do is take a quick look at the OXY insiders. Many of you have requested that I run some videos and make some videos related to the tender offer and the debt notes and things like that. I'm looking at that. It might be a little bit boring, but we'll see if we can get into that in one of the future videos. For now, let's take a look at the insiders. Might be a little bit more interesting and apt as of today, which is August 28th, 2020. OXY, the insiders. So if we look at the insider listing, you can see it's quite a comprehensive list of people. There's about 40 or so insiders, but what we're going to do today is just look at a couple of them that sort of attract attention for a variety of different reasons. The first one is Stephen Chazen, who is a member of the board. Of course, everybody knows who Carl Icahn is. I'm also going to take a quick look at William Cless, who's one of the other board directors, and a very brief look at Vicky Hollub, who is the CEO and president and a director of the board. Just a quick footnote here. Oh, sorry, I'm also going to look at Oscar Brown, the SVP who recently departed Occidental. Quick footnote here at the bottom. Research shows that companies targeted by activist hedge funds like Carl Icahn tend to outperform the market, obviously, over time. So we'll have to see what happens with OXY in the future as we go forward. A picture tells a story. So if we look back at the the good times of Occidental prior to the acquisition of Anadarko, you can see the insider activity, and then you can also see the insider activity during the course of 2019 declining quite notably. Then there's an uptick in Q2 of 2020. That's actually due to just one person, which is Oscar Brown. We're going to take a look at his insider sales in just a minute or so. And then you can see a little bit of buying started happening again in Q2 of 2020, the last quarter. Insider trades, quick summary. If we look at the insider trades, we can see that the number of open market buys were approximately 11, about 5 sells, total insider trades in 16 or so for the past 12 months. You can see that the buys still outperformed or outranked the sells by 40 to 20. So of the 60 total insider trades, approximately 2/3 were buys, which is at least somewhat of a positive view to Occidental overall. If we look at the actual number of shares bought and sold, more shares were bought than sold, albeit only slight, but over a period of 12 months, considerably more shares were purchased by insiders than sold by insiders. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into this. If we look at the buys for the last quarter, we can see, in fact, for the previous 2 quarters, so this starts in March of 2020 up until August of 2025, so just a few days ago, you can see that they were buys not very significant in terms of number, but 10, 20, 30, 40, 45,000 buys over the last couple of months or so. And then you can see the average price here on the side, sort of $13, except for a $5,000 share purchase at $27 and a smaller purchase in March of this year at $33. So let's take a look here at Oscar Brown. He's a former SVP of the company whose departure was not announced. So the fact that he left the company just kind of happened on the hush-hush. He was very instrumental in the Anadarko acquisition, so that might have played into the fact that he departed the company, especially with Carl Icahn getting three new guys on the board. You can see that the trades that he made, they all obviously sells. So you got about 10, 50, that's 60, and another 30 is about 90, 95,000 shares or so that he traded. You can see the average prices that he sold, and he effectively exited his positions when he exited the company. So one insider sold, and he's the guy who was basically removed or otherwise who exited his position. I'm not sure if he was pushed or whether he jumped, but anyway, he's no longer with Occidental. If we look at Steve Chazen, when you see shares like this, disposition, non-open market or acquisitions, non-open market. So if it's a disposition like this, it's probably restricted stock options or restricted shares that were cancelled. They may have been performance linked. So because it's non-market related, you have a price of 0. So these are typically sort of stock options that are exercised at a certain price, or shares that are awarded for a certain performance or something like that. So Steve has not actually been actively buying or selling Occidental, even though his name comes up in the report quite frequently because he is quite an active trader. William Cless, on the other hand, has been buying. So if you look at the transactions over here, you can actually see there are 2 buys. The others, as I just mentioned with Stephen Chazen, are sort of stock option related or restricted stock or performance shares or something like that. But William Cless has actually purchased shares, so we can see he purchased 20,000 shares at a price of $12, and he purchased 10,000 shares at a price of $13.43. So he's actively been buying shares of Occidental. He's one of the directors of the company. Who exactly is William Cless? So he's been a director of Occidental since 2013. He is also an insider to a number of other companies, Meg Energy, and previously was at Valero Energy. Mr. Cless is the former, I'm reading over here, is the former Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board of Valero Energy Corporation. I owned Valero before. I made some handsome profit on it, so thank you to William Cless for his leadership in that regard, and I'm hoping he can bring the same type of leadership to Occidental on a go-forward basis. Anyway, he's buying stock, so he's obviously confident. As an insider, he has knowledge that we don't have, so it's always a good sign when you see an insider purchasing some stock on the open market. Carl Icahn, everybody knows about Carl Icahn now, but let's take a look at the history of Carl and Occidental. If we look here in Q2 of 2019, they actually the position that they have was established at $52 per share. In Q3 and Q4 of 2019, they sold quite a chunk of that position at shares that range from $42 to $53 per share. And then again in the next quarter, Q4 of 2019, they sold some stock, quite a chunk of the position again at prices ranging from $37 to $44 per share. And then we see in Q2 in 2020, by this time he had kind of made up and made nice with Vicky Hollub, and they became friends again. And Carl increased his shareholding in Occidental by 300% at an average cost of $14.60 per share. Today, Carl owns approximately 10 to 11% of Occidental, which includes these warrants that he was issued recently, as we all were if we were long Occidental. Personal side note over here at the bottom, Carl has a $1.3 billion short position in CMBX6. CMBX6 is kind of the code word for the mall shorts. So shopping malls, CMBX6 is commercial mortgage-backed securities, Index 6, which are all the sort of strip plazas and mall owners in the United States. I'm on the other side of that trade via my long holdings in AllianceBernstein. AllianceBernstein is long CMBX6, and Carl is short CMBX6, so I'm on the other side of a trade of Carl Icahn. So just in case you think I am following everything that Carl does and copying what he does, that's not necessarily true, because in some instances I'm actually on the other side of the Carl Icahn trade. Finally, we take a look at Vicky Hollub, who's obviously the CEO of Occidental today. The last transaction that she made was in June of 2019, so just over a year ago. She purchased 37,460 shares, which she still holds today at a price of $48.15 her shares, so she would be very keen to see an uptick in the share price, as we all are. I scooped this profile here at the bottom from Vicky's personal profile on LinkedIn, which means she wrote it herself. She has been at Occidental Oil and Gas Corporation for 11 years and 5 months. Actually, that's true only in as much as it relates to her position as President and CEO, and before that, President and General Manager of Oxy Permian CO2. She's actually been with the company since 1981 for 30 years. So if you want to file this under you only had one job to do, and your crowning moment was Anadarko, if you're critical about that, you can say you only had one job. On the other hand, you could say you've only had one job, and that's with Occidental. So she is highly experienced as a 30-year veteran of Occidental Petroleum. So on that note, I'm wrapping up this presentation. That was kind of a quick review of the insiders and their trades over the last few months or years. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, keep well, and I'll be back soon with some more on Occidental. This is Mr. Oxy signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.